show you how to make the first motif of this project. You start with a slip knot, and I leave a long end so that I have plenty to sew in later, and I make a loop, and that top strand of the loop goes across the loop there, and then I pull that forward. Then I have a knot side and a slip side, and I pull the knot side, not too snug. Then I put the loop on my hook and I pull it just a little bit, and it should just kind of float on my hook like this. Then I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. So the first chain is this chain right here, and then I'm just going to go in this strand here, and then I'm going to yarn over, bring that through, and bring that through the loop on my hook like that. Now while I am working single crochet stitches into the ring, I'm also going to be working over the end of my starting chain, and that's so that I can snug up the circle a little bit if I need to when I get done. So I'm going to just be working over this strand and into the center of this chain 5 loop. So what you want to do is put 12 single crochet stitches in there. And I didn't do a beginning chain 1 because it shows up a little bit. So I thought we could just do away with that beginning chain 1, and it would look nicer. So I'm just working the single crochet stitches into the chain 5 loop and over the end of my starting chain. Now at the halfway point, you might want to take a little break and slide some of these loops back a little bit and do a count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to slide this back just a little bit more, and then there's 12. So now I have the 12 single crochets into the ring, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. So I'm going to go in here like that and then pull that through. So that is round 1, and now I'm going to start round 2. Round 2 is the cluster stitch. So what I want to do with round 2 is raise this up. So when I raise it up, it's about 1.25 inches. I measured this. So it's right about here. You'll get a feel for it eventually. And you have to keep some pressure out on your hook like this. And you also need your finger right here. And then you're going to yarn over and hold that loop also on your hook, and then go back in and then yarn over and draw up another loop and bring it up even with the other loops. So then you're going to yarn over, do the same thing, go back into this first single crochet where you joined and bring that up like that, and then you're just going to do that one more time like this. And you'll have 7 loops on your hook, 2, 4, 6, 7, and then you yarn over. I'm pulling. With this hand, I've got pressure pulling out this way. So I'm gonna go under all those loops. I'm gonna chain 1, and that is considered the eye of your cluster, and it doesn't count in your chains. It's just considered the eye. So then you're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5, like that. And then you always want to have the right side of round 1 facing you. And then you're going to do the same cluster stitch. You're going to yarn over, draw up a loop in the next single crochet like this, and bring it up high. Now your very first loop that you bring up kind of dictates the height of all the other loops. because if I bring it up only this high, when I go to bring up the other loop, I'm gonna have a hard time stretching them out. You have to do the stretch on the very first one and then stabilize that stretch and keep it there. So then I'm gonna yarn over, go back in the same single crochet, and then I'm gonna yarn over, go back in the same single crochet like this. Now I have 2, 4, 6, 7 loops. I'm gonna yarn over. I keep that yarn, this yarn up high too. I'm gonna go through all the loops on my hook like this, and then I'm gonna chain 1, and that is the eye of the cluster. Then I'm gonna chain 9 for the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'm gonna do a cluster stitch again in the next single crochet. So I'm gonna yarn over, draw up a loop. I'm gonna keep it high like that, stretch it out, and then I'm gonna yarn over, hold this with I'm also using this finger back here to stabilize all these loops. Yarn over, go back into the same single crochet, draw up a loop, and stretch it out. And like, hey, I have tension up here. And then yarn over, bring that through the same single crochet. Now I have the 7 loops on my hook. I'm gonna yarn over, and I'm gonna bring them through all 7 loops like that. Chain 1 for the eye of the cluster. So this is gonna be the corner. This is gonna be one side. There's gonna be the 4 corners, of course, and then there's 2 chain 5 loops on each side. So now I'm gonna chain 5. And then I'm going to work a cluster stitch in the next single crochet. I'm gonna draw that loop up to the height that I want, which is 1.25 inches, like this. I'm gonna hold that tension there. I'm gonna yarn over, go back into the same single crochet, stretch it out, yarn over, get my yarn straight, yarn over like this, go back in, yarn, bring that yarn up, yarn over, and draw through all 7 loops on my hook like this. Chain 1 for the eye. Now we're going to do one more chain 5 for the side. Now I'm going to do another cluster stitch in the next single crochet. Chain 1 for the eye. So now you see I have a chain 9 for the corner and 2 chain 5s for the side. And now I chained 1 for that cluster, but now I need a chain 9 again for the corner. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I'm going to go in between each of these chains, between the clusters, you're going to be chaining in between the clusters. So here I went in the next one, and then the next one. Sometimes I have to kind of pull it like that to get it to have the right height. Oh, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. There, and chain 1, and then chain 5 for the side. Now I'm going to make another cluster stitch in the next single crochet, yarn over, draw up a loop, raise it up, yarn over, do the same thing 3 times, like that. yarn over, draw through all 7, chain 1 for the eye. I need one more chain 5 loop for the side. Yarn over, go back in here, raise that up. So now I have 2 corners and 2 sides. There's chain 5s on the sides. And here's the 3rd corner. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now another cluster stitch. You want them all to be even, so that's why I'm like pulling to kind of make sure that they're all even on there. So now this is a side, so it's a chain 5, 3, 4, 5. And go in here. See, it was a little bit, this one was sticking out a little bit, one of the strands. So I keep pulling, I'm pulling on this side to get them all even. So now I have that corner. I need one more side. And then a cluster in there. Okay, so now I started here, I have a chain 5, chain 9, chain 2 chain 5s for a side. This is a chain 9 for the corner, 2 chain 5s, chain 9 corner, 2 chain 5s. So now I need to do a chain 9 for the last corner. And then the last cluster stitch. I have my last corner done, chain 9. I started with one side, which was 1 chain 5 loop. Now to end, I'm going to chain 5 and join with a slip stitch to the eye of the cluster stitch. So the eye is right here. I'm going to go underneath those 2 loops, yarn over, bring that through like that, and then I'm going to cut back here. I want to make sure I have plenty to sew this in. And then I just pull that through, and then I'll sew my ends in. But this is how the very first motif looks, and every motif after this will be a joining motif. It'll be either a one-sided joining where you're going to join here, 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 and here with the next square, or you're going to have a two-sided joining. And on a two-sided joining, you're going to have 2 squares that are already joined together in a triangle, and then you're going to have to join into 2 sides. But I'll show you how to do that. So for the next motif, I'm going to go ahead and work round 1, and then I'll come back on camera and I'll show you how to work while you're joining at the same time. I went ahead and started the second motif, which is a one-sided joining. I did the first side like I did on motif number 1. And right now the next step is to do the corner, which is a chain 9 for the corner. I've chained 1 for the eye of my cluster. And now for the corner, instead of the chain 9, this is only when you're doing the join as you go. When you're getting ready to join it, I'm going to join it to this motif here. That was the first motif that I made. So instead of the chain 9, I'm going to chain 4, which is half of the chain 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see why it's half in a minute. So then you're going to go to the corner, adjacent corner on this motif, and you're going to find the middle chain. And I usually don't count the chains. I can kind of see where the middle is going to be. And I am going to have my yarn in the back like this. This is the right side of motif number 1 right here. I go on the wrong side of the chain and I go into it like this. I insert my hook like this. I yarn over and I do a slip stitch to that center chain of the adjacent corner. And I bring that through, and that is going to count as 1. So now all I have to do to complete this corner is to chain 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to go back to motif number 2 right here and do the next cluster. So I'm going to yarn over, go in here, draw this up, and do a cluster stitch like I showed you on the motif number 1, like this, and then through here, and then chain 1 for the eye. And now we're joining a side. So right here is the corner that I just joined. Now I'm going to join to this chain 5 loop for the side. So this is the eye, and it doesn't count as your chain 5, as part of the chain 5. So now I'm going to chain 2, and the same thing, I have the right side facing up, but I'm going to go underneath, and I've got the strand of yarn in the back, and I'm going to insert my hook in the center chain of the adjacent chain 5 loop. Actually, I was going in the wrong one. I need to go in this one right here. If I would have went in this one, I would have made a mistake and had to go back. So under here, I'm going to go in underneath the center chain. I'm just going to pick it up and go in through the back. And I've got my yarn in the back of my hook like this. And then I'm going to yarn over like that, bring that through, and bring that through the loop on my hook. Then I'm going to chain 2 and work the next cluster stitch on the working motif, which is motif number 2. So there's 1, 2, 3. Then I'm gonna bring that through, chain 1 for the eye. Now I have 2 sides, 2 loops on the side, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna chain 2, and I'm gonna slip stitch from the back in the center chain. Let me yarn over, bring that through, chain 2, and then I'm gonna go back, work another cluster stitch. This is a one-sided joining for this project. Chain 1 for the eye. Now I'm going to chain 4, and I'm gonna find the center chain of the next corner of the one I'm joining to, the motif I'm joining to. I'm going to slip stitch, and then I'm going to chain 4. Okay, then I'm completely joined to this motif for a one-sided joining. It's already done. So now I'm going to just finish this motif like we did in the motif number 1. The second motif, you don't have to worry about joining anymore. That's a completed one-sided joining. So go ahead and you just, like, the next step, you're at a corner here. The next step is a cluster stitch, and you just finish this motif like you did the first motif. So you're on the side now. So you chain 5, another cluster stitch, chain 5 again, another cluster stitch, and you just completely finish this motif like you did the first one. Now I have that corner that was joined. I have the 2 sides now with the chain 5. Now I'm going to chain 9 for a corner. And then another cluster stitch. So you just continue on like that until that one's finished. In the next part, I'm going to come back on camera. I'm going to have another motif right here. I'll do a one-sided joining here, and then I'll do that so I can show you a two-sided joining, because you'll come in here with a motif and you'll join on like this side and then this side. I'm going to show you how the third motif gets joined to the second one's 1 and 2. So I'm at a corner right now, so I'm going to chain 4. And right here are the 2 corner joinings from the previous motifs, 1 and 2. So I'm going to pick up, this is the right side of both motifs. I'm going to pick up where I want to join right here, and I'm going to turn it to the wrong side. I've got my yarn back here like this. I'll make sure I'm in camera. So I have it back, my yarn's behind the hook like this, and then I'm just going to go into the same space that this motif used for joining. I'm going to go into the pink one like this, yarn over, bring that through, and then bring that through the loop on my hook. So now I'm going to chain 4 for the corner again. Then I'm going to work on this third motif now. I'm going to go do a cluster in the next single crochet, chain 1 for the eye, chain 2. Now I need to join, so my goal here is to join the corner, the 2 sides, and this corner right here. So now I'm going to go into the center of this chain. I'm going to pull this up and go on the wrong side and into the center chain like this. I'm going to yarn over, bring that out, and bring that through here. Chain 2 again. Go back on the working motif here and do a cluster stitch. Chain 2, chain 1 for the eye, chain 2, go back over here, turn it to the wrong side. I'm going to go right here in the center chain of the chain 5 loop, chain 2, go back over here, chain 1 for the eye. This time, since now I have the 2 sides joined, I have this corner joined to motifs 1 and 2. This was 1, this was 2. But I have these joined, then I have the corner joined, the 2 sides. Now this is going to be a corner. So this time I'm chain 4. And I'm going to pick this up. I want the back side of it So I'm going to go in the back side of it and drop a loop, bring this through, chain 4. Now all I have to do is, there's no more joining after this because I've joined the 4 points, the 2 corners and the 2 sides, and the 2 loops of the sides and the 2 loops of the corners. And now all I do is finish this motif here, back here, pull that through, and now you see I have 3 joined motifs. Let me put them right here. And now I'm gonna do another square in a different color. I'm doing these all different colors so you can see where the joinings happened. I'll be back on camera and I'll show you how to join a 2-sided motif. Well, it's actually a 4-sided motif, but it's got a 2-sided joining. I'm going to show you how to do a 2-sided joining with this motif here. I've worked one of the sides, a corner, 2 of the sides. Now I'm getting ready to do a corner. So the spots where I'm going to join are here. This is a corner, the 2 sides. I'm going to join into this corner, inside corner. Then I'm not going to join on this thing because that's part of the corner there. And then I'm going to join on these 2 sides in this corner, and then I'm going to finish this motif. So I'm at a space where I need to do the next corner, so I'm going to just chain 4. I'm going to go to the wrong side. I've got this behind it here. I'm going to go to the wrong side of this corner loop here. I'm going to go in there, yarn over, bring that through, and then that's joined. I joined to that corner. So I'm going to chain 4, and then on the working motif here, I'm going to work a cluster stitch. Chain 1 for the eye, chain 2, and then I'm going to go to the next the next loop, which is on the side. I want to go to the wrong side of it, and I'm going to bring that loop through and bring that through here. Then I'm going to chain 2, and then back on the working motif, I'm going to do another cluster stitch there. Chain 1 for the eye, chain 2, because I got to do the second side. So now I'm going right here. So far I have the corner joined and a side. Now I have to do this next, and then I'll go join into the corner of this, will join into the inside corner of these. So I'm going to pick this up, start my hook like that. Chain 2, back on my working motif, I will work a cluster, and then now, see where I'm at there. Now I need to go into the inside corner, but this is going to be the corner of this one, just like these are the corners, the corners come together. So I'm going to chain 4. Then I need to join into this corner, so I'm going to go into that same space that the other corners are using, which is into that pink chain, and I'm going to do the slip stitch there, and then chain 4, and then back on the working motif, I'm going to do a cluster stitch. And then I'm going to chain 1 for the eye, chain 2 for the next side. Let me show you where we're at now. So all the squares come together like that. It's really pretty, isn't it? So now I just have to join this side right here. So And back on the working motif. In the directions it'll talk about the working motif, and that's what that means. It's a motif I'm working on and joining as I'm working it. Chain 2. I've just finished that joining. I chained 2, so I need to pick up the next side here on the wrong side. Then chain 2, back on my working motif. I'm going to do another cluster stitch. Then chain 4 for the last corner. Okay, so here's the chain 4 loop of the corner. And then chain 4. Okay, now I am completely connected to with a two-sided joining, and that's what that looks like. It's so pretty, I love it. So now all I have to do is finish this motif, and then that'll be complete. This is the top edge of the shawl. This would be this one side. This is another side. Any of the strands left on the motifs that fall on the sides, I just leave because I will incorporate them into the fringe when I put the fringe on there. Up here on this corner, this motif was worked a lot before I joined it to this side. You can see that in the video. And then it was joined here and it finished off here. On this side, I started the motif here and joined in from the top. Over there, it started to join in at the bottom edge. So here I joined in at the top and worked it, and then finished over here, and that one there finished on the inside edge. This one's on the outside edge. This will be reversed if you are left-handed. This is the top triangle. So this, because I'm right-handed crocheting, I started into the triangle here like that, and I finished over here. Now I know for a left-hander, you're going to start right here and then go into here and then finish over on that side. But the directions will be reversed. I wanted to show you, this is the motif that creates, it's the very top motif here before you do the outer edge or one of the triangles. This is the chain 9 loop that was shared with these two motifs here. So there's 3 here, 3 here, and then 3 right there. And then over here is the same thing. That was the chain 9 loop, and 3 was shared with this one, and then 3 was left because you need that stretch across the top of the shawl, and then 3 here, and then it connected to the third one here and here, and that left 3 unworked across all the ones that come on the that are on the top. Here's a diagram of how the squares are put together for the shawl. This is the smaller one. The pictures in the pattern are of the purple one, and that was done in this layout, and the white one was done with one more square down here, so it was 7 along the side instead of 6 along the side like this one. So you'll put all your squares together, and then across the top edge it's going to look like this because your squares are on the diagonal. So you're going to have to make a triangle piece to make this straight across the top right here. So to do that, there's a motif that is a triangle, and instead of 12 cluster stitches, there are 7, and instead of 12 single crochets around 1, there's going to be 9 and a smaller starting chain, and the joining will be a little bit different, but I'll show you a video for that. And then there is also the very top corner pieces that you can see right here, the outside corners right here. The triangle pieces are a little bit different in the joining technique, so I'll also do a video for that. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the triangle motif that goes across the top edge of the shawl. So to start, you start with a slip knot, chain 4, and then you join with a slip stitch to the first chain to form a ring. Go in here, and then yarn over, bring that loop through, and bring that through the loop on your hook. I'm going to work over the end of my starting chain, and I'm going to work 9 single crochets into the center of the ring. After I complete the 9 single crochets, I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet, and then I'm going to pull that up just about 1 inch and a little over 1 inch, and then I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. Just like we did before, yarn over, pull through all the loops on my hook, chain 1 for the center, the eye, and then I'm going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is going to be a little bit different. You're going to find the corner. You're working into these 2 squares right here, and you're going to have a corner here and a corner here. So you want to work on this side in that corner, and instead of going into the center chain of that corner, you're going to go into the 3rd chain from the eye. So you're going to split this chain 9 up into 3 parts. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and that's where I want to go join right there. I'm going to leave 3 unworked, and then I'm going to go into this other 3rd one for the other motif on this side. So what that does is it creates some space across the top, some ease across the top. So what I did here was chain 4, and instead of going into the center loop, which I joined all the squares like that, I'm going to go into the 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, right here. Like here, I'm on the wrong side of this. I'm going to insert, I'm going to yarn over, bring that through the loop on my hook, chain 4 again, and then go back to my working motif, which is the one I'm working on, and do that cluster stitch again. And this time I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to join the sides like I did on the joining of the squares. I'm going to go on the wrong side, and then chain 2, and then back on my working motif. I didn't yarn over there. Chain 2. Now I'm going to join to my other side here. Chain 2, back on my working motif. 1, 2, and 3. That through and that through, chain 1. Now I'm going to join into this corner, it's like an inside corner. So I'm going to do this like we did the squares, and I'm going to chain 4 and join where all these are joined together. So you chain 4, and then I want to go on the wrong side where all 3 of those are joined and join into that. So I'm going to go right in here into this pink one, and then bring that through, and then I'm going to chain 4 like that. So that looks like that so far. I have the outside corner joined, I have the 2 sides joined, 2 side loops joined, and then I have the inside corner joined. So now I'm going to join to the other side over here. But first I need to work another cluster in the working motif. Chain 2. I'm going to join with the slip stitch on the wrong side of the next side. Chain 2. On the working motif, work another cluster stitch. Same thing, chain 2. Go back to the second loop of the side we're working on, joining 2. Slip stitch, chain 2, another cluster stitch. Now, here we have a different joining. So what you want to do is on the last loop here, you need to join to this corner. We're going to join into the 3rd loop. We're going to leave the the 3rd chain there. We're going to leave these 6 chains unworked, and the motif next to this one will use the 3rd one over here. So you're going to have that little span there across the top of your shawl, and you need that to create some, to ease in some of the width. So on this last one here, what you'll do is just chain 4. I chain 1 for the eye of the cluster stitch, so now I'm going to just chain 4, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the 3rd chain over here. So it's 1, 2, and 3 right here. Like that, and to here. And then I'm just gonna finish that off right there. So right here, you see how it creates a triangle. And you see we have 7 clusters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this right here will be the top edge right here. And you're gonna have a portion of this and a portion of that across the top edge. So you work all of the top edge pieces across the top, just like it's shown in the diagram. And then when you're done with that, you're going to add the corner pieces will go on the last square on the outside. But I've started with the same as the triangle piece with chain 4 and 9 single crochets into the ring, and then I have my first cluster stitch with my chain 1, and now where I'm going to work is on this side of the square. So what I want to do is chain 4. So I chain 4, then I'm going to find the third chain. I'm not going to count the eye of that cluster, but I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the back of that chain like this. And then I'm going to yarn over, bring that through, and then I'm going to chain 4 again. And then I'm going to do a cluster stitch on the working motif. Like this. And then I'm going to do 1, 2. Then I'm going to join the 2 side loops, the same as we've been doing. Chain 2, back on my working motif. Chain 2, back here, center of this. Chain 2, back on the working motif. Now I'm going into this corner here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this one is different because it's the edge, one of the sides. It's not the top edge. So this is joined in the center of this motif here. The center of the chain 9 loop. So I'm going to go in the back of it, join there. So that looks like this. So here, this is the top edge. So you needed to share the chain 9 loop with the triangle motif right here. So this needed to be in here to give some stretch, some ease into the top edge. And then this is just a regular chain 9 loop joining because it's the side going down. It's not the top edge. So now I'm going to finish. All my work will now be on my working motif. If I can get my hook straightened around here. Okay. So I just joined that. So I'm going to chain 4 again. And now I'm gonna, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters. So now I'm gonna keep working this like I was working all the other clusters, the other squares, kind of. Okay, this now is a side, so I just did the chain 1 and then the chain 5. I'll do that one more time. So I have the corners joined here. I'm done working on this joining to this motif. Now I'm just going to finish the working motif. And I have the rest of the corner here. I have one side done, and now I'm going to do a second side. And this is my chain 1 for the eye, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the second side piece. Then on my working motif, I'm going to do another cluster stitch. Through all of those, chain 1 for the eye, then chain 9. So I have my chain 9 equivalent here. I have 2 chain 5 loops here. Now I did chain 1 for the eye. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'm going to work one more cluster stitch. This side, this outer one, is going to have 8 cluster stitches instead of 9. Instead of 7. So when you're done, you just finish off right there at the cluster stitch. So I'm going to cut that so I can show you what that looks like. So now this is the top edge of the shawl, and this is the very tip of the top of the shawl. Now I'm on the opposite side to work the other end of the shawl top edge triangle. So this one's different because I'm going to work the one side and then start joining. On the other one, I started joining in the beginning and then I finished the motif. But now I'm going to work one side of the motif before I start joining to the square. So just work a cluster stitch as usual. And you chain 1, chain 9 for the corner, 4, and then cluster. Once you get the hang of these, they go by really quick. Okay, so I've got one side. Okay, so now I have this motif started like this, the chain 9, which is going to land up out here. I've got the 2 side chain 5s done. Now I'm going to join to the center chain of this chain 9 loop right here. So I'm going to chain 1 for the eye, then I'm going to chain 4. Then I'm gonna join with a slip stitch to the center chain, go through the back like this, yarn over, bring that through the loop on my hook, and now we're joined to that corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is not the top edge right here, but up here I need to share that chain 9 loop because it needs to have that chain 3 in between. So, but down here, I'm working in the center of the chain 9 loop. So now back on my working motif, I'm going to join these 2 side loops. Have the corner joined with a chain 9 loop, chain 4, slip stitch, chain 4. Then I have one side joined with a chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, cluster stitch. Now I gotta join this side right here. So I just do a chain 2, join with a slip stitch right here. Then chain 2, cluster stitch in the working chain, that. And then chain 4. So here I have, this is the side of the shawl. This is the top edge right here. So this is the, along the top edge, when it comes to this corner joining over, this is where I join that triangle with the slip stitch in the 3rd chain. So now on the same motif, I'm gonna do it again on the 3rd chain right here. So I'm gonna join with a slip stitch, and I'm gonna leave those 3 chains here unworked for the top edge of the shawl. Then I'm gonna chain 4 again right here. So that looks like it's all joined there. But now I need to go back on my working motif and do one last puff stitch. Then work an eye and then finish off. So that's what that's gonna look like. So on these outside, these corners here, you're gonna have 8 right there. And that will be one side of the top edge, the very outer tips of the top edge of the shawl. So there is one, and here, that was the other side over here. So that one looks like that, and then this right here is the top edge, right here, all this yarn. So once you get the hang of this, it's not that difficult at all, and it works up super fast. So I think it's a great pattern. I'm on the wrong side of the sample motifs for the end coming out of the starting circle, wrong one. I pull that in a little bit. I don't want it like super tight in there, so just a little. Then I thread my needle by folding the end over like this, and then pushing the folded end through the eye of the needle. And then I will come over here like this and go out about a 1/2 inch, and that closes up that spot right there. I'll come in a little bit behind where that came out and go back out here like that. And the same thing again, just a little bit. And there's a lot of bulk in there, so my yarn has a lot of room to hide in there. And then one more time. I usually do it 3 or 4 times to lock it. And then I always hold my work flat and cut like that, so I don't cut down into the piece. These ends here, I will incorporate into the fringe. This up here is an end the border is going to be worked into, so I'm going to sew these ends in and then come back on camera and show you how to do the top edge. There are tools that you can use for fringing. I have several of the tools, but I can't locate them right now. So I looked around my house and I found my little legal pad here. This is exactly 8 inches. So I'm going to wind my yarn onto this little thing here. You could hold several strands of yarn at one time to speed up the amount of strands that you have to have. But you just keep going like this. And then at some point you stop where you started, at the end that you started. And you'll cut that. And you don't need that anymore. And then you cut this. bottom. Now you have your strands. So on this one, I only did 2 strands, but you can do as many as you'd like. This is a number 5 bulky weight yarn. So you start in one of the loops here, and you want to go in from the front, right, like that, and bring that through there. I guess it'd be easier to see like that. And then hold the folded end like this and grab the strands like that and just go like that. And that makes the fringe. Might be pretty to do a different color on the fringe. So you go in from the front with the folded end, and you put that in there. Hold the folded end open and grab the strands and pull it through, just like that. And then you tighten it up a little bit. So you hold 2 strands together, fold them in half, take the fold from the, I've got this on the right side, so from the right side you go from right to wrong side with the loop like this. Hold the loop open and then grab the strands and then pull it through. So that's how you do fringe. This is a close-up of the top right edge of the shawl. This is my starting point right here. This was the fringe, and this was the end of my starting chain for the border edge, top edge. So I just left the strands hanging out because they look like they're part of the fringe. You could also tie them into the knot on the fringe here. So I'm going to show you how I got this started. So I start with a slip knot on my hook. This little, I have, well, you know, here I should start with a slip knot that has the 8-inch end on it, so it can become part of the fringe. You won't have to sew it in. Now, on this side, there is a chain 9. I want to start the border in the center chain of that chain 9. Right here was the chain 1 for the eye of the cluster stitch, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's this 5th one I want to join to. So I start with the slip knot on my hook, and the easiest way to do this, I think, is to join with a single crochet. So you have the loop on your hook, you insert your hook into the chain like this, yarn over, draw a loop up, yarn over, and draw through 2, like that. So that becomes the first single crochet along the top edge of the shawl. So you work in each one of these, well, you work over the chain. From now on, you just work over it. So it just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when I get to a cluster stitch, it's going to look like this. Here's the eye. And then here is the cluster stitch. I'm going to put 1 in there. And then there's nothing here. So it's the side of the cluster. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the strands of the cluster and then just work single crochet, like 2 single crochets there. Then I've got the unused single crochet from round 1 of the outer triangle I'll go in there with a single crochet, and then just wherever you want to put a single crochet, just as long as it doesn't start, as long as it keeps laying flat, you'll be fine. So then I would put a fringe right there and incorporate that fringe with it. So you just single crochet all the way across, just making sure to keep your work is staying flat. And you may want to put more stitches here, but this is showing because I'm using different colors so that you can see the stitches that I've been doing. But you definitely want to do this from the right side. And then when you finish off at the other end, just make a chain, finish off, and leave an 8-inch end so that you can incorporate that into the fringe on the other side. Here is the finished top edge of the shawl. You can see here the single crochet stitches. This is where I began here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I did 2 in the side of the cluster, and then I did 1 in the same single crochet used by the other one. I just eased them in there and it came out pretty flat. But you just go all the way across and it's really beautiful. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this project. I love wearing these. I wear them during the summer. I wear them in the winter. This one's a little bit heavier than the purple one, but I just love it. And I get compliments on it all the time. I wear them like you see me wearing them in the pictures. I don't wear this one at the beach, but I would love to do that purple one in a cotton. That's like a mohair type acrylic, but I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know what colors you'd like to use doing this. What's your favorite color? That purple is amazing. It's not a color that I would typically use, but I love it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the project, and stay tuned for the next video.